I remember Tampa, the way she used to be, the places we would run to, the faces we would see. Yes, I remember Tampa, the sweet soft memories, a city rising on the move, a simple yet progressive groove. Yes, I remember Tampa, she remembers me.
Welcome to the Tampa Native Show. Stay tuned now for the most entertaining 60 minutes from the studios at TBCN, Tampa Bay Community Network. Join your hosts, Mario Nunez and Steve Canella, as they celebrate growing up in Tampa. From Shock Armstrong to Shakey's Pizza, from Braddock Street to Buffalo Avenue, get ready to call in and tell us your stories, because sharing your memories has never been this much fun. And now, Mario Nunez and Steve Canella. Hey everybody, and we're back. This is the Tampa Native Show. We're live. It's Thursday night at 7 p.m. I'm Mario Nunez, seated alongside my broadcast partner,
Steve Canella,
and the lovely
15-minute girl.
And we'd like to say thank you so much for being there and joining us once again this week. Listen, we opened up the show this week, and for those of you that were with us last week and witnessed all of that good stuff that Steve was talking about, It was painful. It was hard to watch. But you know what? Steve stepped up this week, and he owned up to it. And fabulous, we're moving right along and moving right past that. But listen, if you got a chance to miss it, Steve's going to have that uploaded on the website here shortly. So you have to go back and watch it, because it's going to give you a little bit of perspective as to what this was all about.
I'll have that up there probably either tonight or tomorrow. So be sure to watch it.
Be sure to watch it.
Maybe.
With a box of Kleenex.
Might not want to.
But it
was fun.
It was a lot of fun, and I tell you what, one thing here about us at the Tampa Native Show, we own all of it. So you know what, we go back.
We can take a joke.
Yeah,
even
we can
on
laugh,
ourselves.
and we can laugh at ourselves, and we say it every week here on TV amongst ourselves in pre-production. You know, this is live TV, and with live TV, anything can happen. And it usually does.
And Mario, I have to be honest, I mean, all week at work, I've been kind of giggling and laughing. My coworkers asked me what I'm laughing about, and I said, well, I'm laughing at myself, really. But I didn't go into detail with the story, but it wasn't a laughing matter last week, but I've been dying laughing all week this week.
It wasn't, but hey, we're back.
It was a moment.
Bigger and badder than ever. This week's show is going to prove to be another outstanding show. We're going to be talking all about going fishing, growing up in Tampa, and fishing. Specifically, where did you go fishing? Was it the Gandy Bridge? Was that your default place to go? Did you go to the Causeway? Did you wade out there in your waders? How about some crabbing? Did you do the crabbing thing like most of us did? Did you have a boat? Were you lucky enough to have a boat? Did you go out by the Gandy Bridge or even further by the Sunshine Skyway? Or did you just take your bike with your little Zebco rod and reel, and did you go down to Ralston Beach and throw a line in the water there? So this week's show is bound to be full of great, great stories. And we've got some pictures to go along with that. So hang in there with us for just a couple of minutes. We'll be going to the phones as we do. We'll also be calling for your photographs, as we have some coming up here in just a little bit. The default question of the week. Darling, what is our question of the week?
The default question of the week is Gandy Bridge or the Causeway? Which
I know mine.
do you prefer?
Yep. Which was your favorite place to go fishing? We all had one. What we do every week, usually at the top of the show, when we've got a caller already.
Wow.
Guess who that caller is?
Joe Beanie.
It's our leadoff man, Joe Beanie. And if it's not, boy, are we going to be surprised. Joe, hang in there. We see you there. Hang in there. We've got a little bit of business to take care of.
It looks like him, doesn't it?
Yeah, right up here at the top. It sure does. That's Mike's delivery number 3. Listen, we'd like to take a moment, because this is the next to the last show of the end of this season.
Sad.
So yeah, well, it's kind of
Happy sad.
Yeah, happy sad.
Okay.
Melancholy a little bit, because the season's coming to a close, and we hate to stop doing this show because we love what we do, and at the same time take a little bit of break, come back into the next season bigger and badder. Now look, Stevie, let's take a minute and go over this list of sponsors, shall we? Because we didn't get a chance to do it last week, and this week we absolutely need to do it. I'll take those legacy sponsors, Stevie. You take the next. You know how we do this.
Oh, we have
Ladies and
an order
gentlemen,
here. We sure
stand
do.
by while I'll put on my glasses here. We'd like to say to those legacy sponsors that have been with us since the very, very beginning, and ponied up that gigantic check. Well, it wasn't really that big, but it was fabulous, and we appreciate it. The Columbia Restaurant, Mr. Richard Gonsmart, PJ Testa Accounting, Phil Testa, we love you. The Colonnade and the Whiteside family, thank you so much for being always supportive. Amaryllis Sandwiches and More, Juan and Amy Santayana, two bigger fans and two more supportive sponsors we could not ask for. South Tampa Chiropractic Clinic and Dr. Tom Aguero and his staff. We've got Cigar City Magazine and Lisa Figueredo. Thank you, Lisa, for all your love and support. And Tampa T-shirts, the man who made some of those lovely T-shirts that you see around town and that we're going to have on Saturday morning over at Amarilli's. That's Mr. Juan Davis. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our business sponsors include, Stevie, take that business sponsor list.
And one thing I'm going to do right now is put my glasses on, which I should have done last week. I could have just read what I had instead of memorizing it, So
here we go. Business sponsors.
Here we go. Business sponsors: La Segunda Central Bakery. I love saying that. Mercado Sandwich Shop. Red Wagon Landscaping. Mr. Empanada, Lenny Guida. Frank Cueto Bail Bonds. When in jail?
Call 221 Bail.
Columbia Jobbing. World Famous Tiny Tap Tavern. K Pasta Tours. Festa Italiana 2011, Constantino & Company Real Estate, Fran Constantino, Mike's Delivery Service, Sal's One of a Kind, Shell Design, America 2110, the law offices of Bird and Gonzalez, Travel by Appointment, Bob and Doria Gomez, Bardmore Botox, and Mario, personal sponsors.
Personal sponsors?
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed one.
Yep,
I missed one.
You did.
Law offices of Dorigo and Diaz. Sorry about that, guys.
And the personal sponsors include Mike and Kathy White, Phil and Carmen Nunez, Fred and Kathy Tomasello, Ricky Branch, Joe Abini, Simon and Dina Canassi, Bobby Lastra, and Joanna Hernandez. And this week, we're so proud to announce a brand new sponsor. And as you can see, the show enjoys so much popularity that sponsors are jumping on even as we come to the close of this broadcast season because they're realizing it's pretty good exposure, pretty good bang for the buck. This week's new sponsor is a product called G3 Nasal Shield. Now, for those of you that do know me and do what I do for a living, a colleague of mine, professional colleague of mine who suffered constant chronic sinus infections because of the dirty recycled air on the airplane, went into his homeopathic home laboratory, and because his grandmother and his mother taught him how to create home remedies, came up with a product that is absolutely spectacular for those of us, myself included, the 15-minute girl especially, who suffer from sinusitis, sinus conditions, all things sinus related. Well, this product that I'm reaching over here and I'm going to show you now, I'm going to turn over for a testimonial from the 15-minute girl in just a minute. It's called G3 Nasal Shield. It's very simple. You shake it, you put it on a cotton swab, you swab the inside of your nostrils, and 4 to 6 hours, instant relief. If your nose is running, it stops running. If your nose is stopped up, it clears up. It is a fantastic product. It's homeopathic in nature because it's all organic and it's all natural. No contraindications with anything that you might already be taking. And if you want to get off that Claritin hamster wheel, this is the product for you. 15-minute girl, Stevie, excuse me, Jeff, if you'll give the 15-minute girl her individual camera, she's got something marvelous to say about this product.
Marvelous, yes. I've always had, well, not always, but when we moved to Texas, I found out that I had really bad allergies. So I was on that wheel with Sudafed and Claritin and all of that stuff that just dries you out and makes you feel bad. And it kind of changed my personality. It still does sometimes, just taking it. This stuff is the best thing I've ever found. I use it every day, whether I think there's allergies out there or not, but especially if, you know, the allergy count is really high. Then I use it. It's simple, you know, it's perfect, and it hasn't ever let me down. So I will be continuing to use it for the rest of my life.
Yep, and that's G3 Nasal Shield. We will be
great testimonial.
Yep, we'll be putting up that website on our website, thetampanativeshow.com. And the gentleman's name, the proprietor and dear friend of mine, colleague of mine at American Airlines, is Richard Graham III, and hence G3 Nasal Shield. Richard, thank you so much, and
Thank you, Richard.
and we appreciate you coming on board and being one of our sponsors. Wow, we love our sponsors, and man, do we have a great list of sponsors. All right, Stevie, what are we going to do this weekend? Let's talk a little bit about what's coming up.
Yeah, Amarilli's restaurant, Amarilli's Sandwiches and More, actually.
Amarilli's Sandwiches and More on the corner of Tampa Bay and just east of Himes Avenue. It's not on the corner, actually, because it's right in the middle of the block.
About a block off,
yeah. It's just a little east of Himes Avenue.
Right.
It's the official retail merchandiser for all products Tampa Native Show related.
It is.
And this weekend, we're going to have an event, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
1 p.m., blowout sale.
Blowout sale. What are we going to be selling?
We're going to sell T-shirts, hats, the bags we have. We have a sample bag here.
We
to show.
absolutely.
Do we have any cups left?
We have
And we have these wonderful coffee mugs as well.
Tampa Native shirts.
We have a limited supply left, and here's the interesting part about this. Once these are gone, they're probably going to be gone forever. We probably won't be making any more. So they're instantly going to become collector's items, number one. This show is on the rise. I'm just telling you, if we see these products on eBay in 6 months' time, we're going to be upset because we want you to use these with the same love and affection that we manufactured and produced them for you, so you can have them for all time to remind you of the great times we've had on the show. So if you're anywhere around Amaryllis and Sandwiches and More, darling, what time on Saturday?
9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Please come out and see us.
Yeah, we'd love to see you.
We always have fun. It's a lot of camaraderie, and it's fun.
Come out and see us.
And the food is fantastic.
And Juan and Amy have always graciously, you buy a coffee mug, they fill it free of charge with a café con leche like nobody, to the top, and like nobody's business.
And guaranteed, if you go to Amaryllis, you're running into somebody you know from school, elementary school, or it happens every time we go.
It's the who's who of Tampa now.
And we'll all be there. Now, do you notice anything out there, TV Land? Do you notice anything out there different about the set? Besides my Gone Fishing hat, what's missing? One of these things is not like the other. Something's missing on the set. Well, let me tell you what's missing on the set. Stevie's laptop. Stevie, tell them what happened this week.
Well, we had problems. Well, you had a problem.
We all had problems.
Yeah, I had a problem. And
yep, Mario had a problem. He had a virus on his home computer, his desktop. I went over there and tried to help him remove it. Spent several hours. Not fully successful.
No.
We were able to get it to work a little bit better.
Unfortunately.
I go home, and a day later, actually I was at Panera's, logged on my laptop, and I got a virus on my computer.
You must have taken our germs home with you.
I guess I did. And but in my case, though, it destroyed. I was able to remove the virus, but it wiped out my hard drive in the process. So I don't have my laptop. However, I do have my phone. I do get emails on my phone. So
correct.
Still send emails to show@tampanatives.com, and we'll be able to read your emails on the phone.
Show@tampanatives.com. If you want to if you want to participate in this discussion tonight and you can't get in on the phone, we're going to go to our phones here in just a minute.
We have a caller already.
We would like to ask, though, make a general appeal, I guess you could say, that if anybody out there does know how to fix computers
That's right.
that have
expertise
viruses. In particular, this particular virus we know because we did the research. It's called the Windows Restore. That's Stevie's. And mine is the Windows Redirect. You can't do a Google search because once you do a Google search, automatically it sends you to some other site.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's bad news. So anyway, we need some help. So if anybody out there is computer savvy, much more so than Steve and I, and Steve's an IT guy, and he's pretty good.
And
help us out.
This is a tough one.
Yeah, send us. We're at wit's end. And send us a message and let us know that you can help us out. We really do appreciate that. One more thing, we'll go to the phones real quick. We'll talk more about this at the close of the show. We're going to participate this year like we did last year at the MDA Telethon. That's the Muscular Dystrophy Association Telethon. This year's format has completely changed. It's only going to be 6 hours. The broadcast is going to be on Sunday from 6 p.m. to midnight. It's Jerry Lewis's last year. It's going to be an incredible event.
Exciting format.
They have contracted with the producer who has, for the last 10 years, been the producer of American Idol. So the entire format of the show will be changed. And we're going to be looking, there are 20 phones available. We want to fill those phones with Tampa natives. We're going to talk more about that at the end of the show, but kind of just put that in the file that, because we're going to be participating at September 4th this year, Sunday, 6 p.m. to midnight.
Perfect.
All right. Without further
go.
ado, we're going to take this call, because I know it's Joe Beanie. He's been waiting there forever. We're going to take this call,
probably
and
wrong.
then we're going to come back and tell you our fishing story.
Watch it not be Joe Beanie.
Stevie?
We'll see.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hey guys,
Hey, Joe.
He does not
You never
disappoint.
let us down, Joe.
Batting number
Sorry
one.
to keep you on hold so long, Joe.
Yeah, sorry, Joe. We were doing the top of the show, but we know you must have a gigantic fishing story because you held fast with us right there.
yeah, it's well, the one thing that really comes to mind is that we went to the Causeway to get our crabs, havak, and salal.
Yes.
Oh.
My dad had thrown a line out there and waited out there and threw a line out there, put the butt of a chicken on the end of the hook, and threw it out there, and we hooked something enormous. I mean, it seemed to be enormous at the time because I was 5 or 6 or 7 years old, something like that. But must have fought it for 30 or 40 minutes, brought it in, got it under the shallow part, and it was a huge drum, like the picture you had up, first picture you had up.
Wow, were those drum? Because I thought they
big
might have been
fish.
redfish. I wasn't sure if there was redfish or even grouper, but it was drum. Was that drum?
Bluefish.
Drums, those are drums.
Yeah.
Oh, they were big.
They get huge.
They're enormous. I tell you what, my sister, who's 3 years younger than me, actually straddled the one that we had caught,
Wow.
like a.
Like a little horsey, like a little
Did you get
pony.
a picture of that?
Yeah. No, we never got.
Oh, that would have been cute.
a nice
that
picture.
you play with. They're no good. They're that big. They're you can't eat them. They're so tough and full.
They got worms too, don't they, Joe?
Oh yeah.
As I recall, you couldn't eat the drum. If they got too big, you couldn't eat them because they were not good to eat.
Right. No, that's true. That's true. It was fun to have it, to catch it and play around. We played around it probably for an hour.
Yeah, they were good fighters. Now they would fight you a little bit.
Exactly.
Kind of like ladyfish, they'd pull real hard towards the bottom, and they were tough to land. What I also remember too is we got an email that Steve's going to read in a little while from Michael White that's really entertaining about a drum that he gigged off the Gandy Bridge. But weren't those some fabulous days, man? Back in the day when you could actually fish in the Causeway. You didn't have to worry about the E. coli or the bacteria, chlorophora,
Bacterial count of the day.
that thing. You know, the stinky thing that's out there in the water.
Yeah, absolutely not. It was really fun. You could wade out there, have a good time. I mean, you didn't have to wear waders. You just wore your swimming trunks, went out there.
Yeah, you just walked out. And crabbing, you had the thina tied to somebody's waistband, and you went out there with the metal tub, and you had the nets. Or if you got in the boat, you got on the other side, the side. What's the other side, Stevie? The other Dana Shores.
Dana Shores?
The Dana Shores side,
right.
where you had the little channel there, and you had a boat. You referred to chicken butts. I imagine you can use chicken butts. We use chicken necks. Chicken necks were very popular also. Any part of the chicken. The crab, it was very indiscriminate. The neck, the butt, it ate it all.
We use that for crabbing, chicken necks.
But you be real careful, and you pull on that string and get him up close to the boat, and then you get him with the net. That's how you got your crabs for high enchilada.
Yeah, well, we'd probably go out about knee deep or thigh deep.
Yep.
Out there and pull it in real slow and get it, throw it in a bucket right there in the water. I mean, it was just the neatest thing to
look at these. These are the drum that we were talking about earlier. And if Jeff, we can ask you to take us out of the picture for just a quick second. I'm guessing 30 pounds worth of fish
That
right
looks
there.
like more than 30 pounds to me.
Bigger than that.
30, 40 pounds.
30, 40 pounds. Those are big. Those are big fish.
That's 1940s picture.
1940s. And what
a really
stands
cool
out? What
picture.
stands out to you in this picture, Joe? Besides the fish?
The hat.
Yes,
Hat and suit.
the man is dressed very well to
They
go
dressed
fishing.
up pretty good to go fishing.
I'm guessing it was either maybe after church or he had something else to do and
I
he just
don't know. I just think that's how people used to dress.
to go fishing.
They used to go to the state fair that way too.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean,
That's true.
you know.
You wore your
Maybe
hat.
it was
You went shopping
chilly
that way?
and-
Wall back there. So the ones on the seawall got hats too. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you're right. You're
Yeah.
exactly right.
Joe, did you ever go crabbing at Davis Island?
no, I never did crab off of Davis Island. I never tried it.
Okay, we used to do that on the shore, on the canal. A lot
I
of
never
fun.
went crabbing, period.
It's a
Imagine
blast.
that.
It's a blast.
I gotta go.
It's a hobby. It's a dangerous hobby.
No, it is.
Yeah.
It is. Absolutely, it is. And it's not for the faint of heart. I remember one time, one of the memories I had, not so fond memory. My uncle and my father and everybody went, the obligatory go get the highways for the highway enchilada thing, and they brought the crabs home in a bucket in the kitchen.
used to
And
do
they,
that.
and they were about to clean
Laundry
the crabs, and for some reason, either there was a horrific accident or somebody was playing a bad joke, but the bucket fell over
Oh, nice.
in my mother's kitchen.
Oh, crabs went
And the
crawling
crabs
everywhere.
went crawling everywhere.
Oh, no,
and
no.
I totally freaked
I would
because
freak too.
I was like, eek.
Like
and
a
I
horror
jumped up
movie.
on the chair and I said, somebody collect these crabs because this is not good. It's not good. And ever since then, I don't suffer necessarily from arachnophobia, but anything that
Crabophobia.
crawls
Yeah.
sideways and has little this thing action going,
I never liked the fiddler crabs.
I'm not-
They
I'm not-
just
do
gave
you remember
me
the fiddler
creeps.
crabs?
Yeah.
At
They
the
were
Causeway?
everywhere.
Oh yeah.
What happened to them?
I didn't want to walk because I was afraid I was going to step on one of those little
They were
things.
They
everywhere.
had the little holes tunneled in
Use
the
it for
shore.
bait though. We used to use it for
Of course you could use them for bait. And they had that one arm.
Yes.
Like the one arm, the fugitive.
One arm was, one claw was bigger than the
Yeah,
other.
they had the one
Yes.
arm.
yeah.
One arm bandit.
And it would scare the hell out of you with that one arm because it was rather oversized.
Scared me, whatever they had.
Oh yeah, sponsor of the week.
Mike's Delivery.
You never change.
And number. Lucky number. 3. Okay.
I was going to ask you if you suffer from allergies, but maybe you don't.
I mean, no,
Well, we're going to see you at Amaryllis this Saturday.
We could test them.
I was going to ask you to hold a hat if you could.
We will.
Okay.
We will. Absolutely, we will.
How about this one, Joe?
Yeah, look at my gone fishing hat. How about that?
We'll hold this one for you.
How come you're not wearing that hat?
Well, because something's holding it up right there. And I know
Okay.
It's a problem. All right.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks so much for
Bye,
calling. We
Joe.
appreciate it.
Take care. All
And we'll
right.
see you Saturday.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Crabbing was fun. It sounds kind of silly, but trying to outsmart the crab with the chicken necks, you had to kind of He'd hang
No,
on
you had to be
truck.
careful. Yeah, you couldn't do too fast.
You had to have your other.
Did you go early in the morning? Was there
We
a
would do
certain
that.
time?
Yeah,
or-
early in the morning. Sometimes late in the evening would be good. Or
Yeah, in the evening
afternoon.
was good too. I remember the evening time
Yeah.
because you took a light out there with you too. Sometimes it got dark and you stayed out there in the dark. And you know what? It wasn't
I never went
for
clubbing.
little kids. It wasn't necessarily a really super cool thing to do because you always ran the chance of like stepping in the muddy soft
Right.
part and sinking. And you know, it was more of the adult men.
I'm laughing about trying to outsmart the crab, and if you can't outsmart a crab, you have
You're in
problems.
trouble. You're in trouble. That's an adorable picture there. Who's that young fella
You know,
right
that's
there?
Thomas
That's a
Casper.
cute picture.
Oh,
And,
that's adorable.
Look at that little
Now
fish.
see, that's classic.
That reminds me of
Fishing,
the one
that's-
time I went
Where
fishing.
was that?
You know, I don't know where that was.
Thomas, if you're out there watching the show, give us a call and let us know where that was.
That picture, he posted that on that
That social
big
networking
social networking
site?
site,
Mhm.
you know, the one that I'm talking about. And anyway, it was on the Tampa Natives show page. So if you want to see that, you can take
Really
a look at
cute.
it there. But Thomas, thank you so much for posting those. And if you're watching, call us. Let us know where that is.
Yep.
It looks like Hillsborough
looks
River.
like a
almost.
lake.
It does,
Maybe.
either a lake, maybe the
Yeah.
Ralston Lake out there, 813-977-6800. Operators are standing by. You don't have to have your credit card ready. show@tampanatives.com if you want to send us an email. Stevie, this is a great time to let's talk about our own.
Tell your story first, Mario.
Want me to go first?
I'm always doing mine first. Why
All
don't you do
right,
yours
Stevie's
first?
going to default to me. Well, a lot of people don't know this. People who know me know this. But
I don't know this.
my grandfather, when he came down from New York, got a job with the State Road Department. And he started working in circa 1954 with the State Road Department at the time. And he was one of several bridge tenders that worked the Gandy Bridge. So if anybody fished off the Gandy Bridge or had to use the Gandy Bridge to go to and from St. Petersburg, and remember how the drawbridge on the low side used to have to open and close to facilitate the boats going by, well, my grandfather was one of several men whose job it was to open and close that bridge. So for 18 years, most of my youth until I was 14, he would go to work, start his shift at 5 in the morning, and work until about 5 in the afternoon. Now, the neat part about it was underneath the bridge, and caller, we see you there, stand by please. Underneath the bridge, the State Road Department had built like a little casita, a little house, a little area where the bridge tenders could come down from their bridge tending house, their station up top, and there was a couch in there, there was a refrigerator in there, there were supplies that the bridge tenders themselves collected and brought in. So it was a little place for them to relax and do some fishing. Man, it was great because you could fish all night long, day long. We'd get there sometimes. I'm little. I'm 5, 6, 7. Well, probably started at about 7, 8 years old. I don't think I went when I was quite 5. But I went all the way up until he retired. And we would go 3, 4, 5 in the morning. He'd start his shift a little bit early so he could fish before it was actually time and the boats weren't coming by yet. There was a night that he caught, I'll never forget this, about a 25-pound snook that he was so proud because he actually hooked it and brought it all the way up to the expandable band, the span part. So he had to really fight that thing to bring it up. And I remember him calling me and telling me, Mario, come look at this. And it was a huge, huge, beautiful snook. And we ate it and it was delicious. and I don't know why we didn't ever taxidermy it because it was one of those fish that needed to be on a wall for all time to keep that. I mean, but he would hang a lamp over the side. We'd have live bait. Sardines would come. At night, you could hear sometimes the tarpon smashing up against the pilings going after the live bait. Cobia we caught in the afternoon. I mean, one afternoon I caught a shark with my little pinfish rod that he had to take out of my hands before it pulled it out of my hands into the water. And of course, when he was bringing it in, the shark jumped, about a 3-foot inertia. The shark jumped. And when he saw it, he got excited. He thought it was a trout and he was going to bring it in. And when he brought it up to the side and we brought it up onto that little platform, he had to beat it with a little baseball bat because it was a shark, and he wasn't real happy about the fact that it was a shark. But anyway, those wonderful, wonderful memories of fishing with my grandfather. Listen, I learned to love fishing. I wasn't crazy about it at the beginning. I didn't want to have to mess with the hook and baiting the hook, and cleaning the fish was not something I wanted to do. But I loved my grandfather. And my abuelo, this was just an opportunity for us to sit together. And he would let me sit actually on his lap when we opened and closed the bridge manually to let the boats go by. And you know, some of you out there might remember him. I mean, some of you out there, well, of course, some of you out there might remember actually him working at the bridge. And if you're out there and you're watching, please give us a call. Stevie, can we take this call and then go back to you?
We'll do that for sure. Absolutely.
All right, let's do that, Stevie.
Good story, by the way.
Thank you.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Jim Carney, calling from West Tampa.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Good to hear from you
We
again.
talked to you last week. I think.
Yep.
You picked my topic tonight.
All right, okay,
All right,
good. Jim,
there it
you
is.
got the floor. Go right ahead.
Okay, quick one from the 50s about my uncle.
Okay.
And then one from me. And I was lucky enough as a kid to grow up in a fishing family. We had the whole family out there together in the summers, and I basically never wore a pair of shoes till they made me go to school. Grew up in this fishing life. Now, the story about the Bayshore, my uncle, who lived right near there in Hyde Park, used to walk down to the Bayshore before school, and in those days, before all that muck got up along the Bayshore, all this was sand. And you could walk out into that sand and stand there in waist-high water, and the tarpon would be swimming in and out of Sabalo for your Spanish listeners.
Yep.
Would be swimming in and out of your legs, and they would plug and cast and catch tarpon right there, standing in 3 feet of water off the Bayshore. That was the 50s. Now, the story I want to tell, we caught big tarpon and won the Tampa Tarpon Tournament, members of my family, and Captain Budge Carney, amateur captain, but he taught us everything we knew. We owe everything to him. One night, he and I were going after not the big game fish, but with fly rods for tarpon out at Franklin Bridge.
Wow.
Type of fishing that at night that he, my mother, and a very good friend developed to fish inside the shadow line, initially with pinfish on a large rod, and you could see those big shadows coming down that line.
Interesting.
And now what we were doing that night, though, was just me and my father with fly rod with 12-pound test, trying to compete in the St. Petersburg Tarpon Tournament fly rod division.
Sure.
And he had developed a special technique. I won't go into it. We had a special little trick we were trying out that night, and this is July. No thunderstorm that afternoon. The hottest possibly still July night you can imagine. Midnight, and we're still just standing there sweating. And I get on about an 80-pounder.
Wow.
And have that fish run. Usually, when you would pull against them, they would run away from the bridge. This one with the fly rod, we couldn't pull enough, but the stretch of the monofilament line allowed me to keep the fish on and not lose it like we'd been losing the fish. But he ran down the bridge inside one of the pilings.
Oh, he cut your line.
And what you would think he would cut the line, but then stopped.
Oh.
And we ran the boat up to it. My dad tied up by the rules were you couldn't touch the rod. The only person who could touch the rod was the fisherman. He tied a rope around it. I threw it around. I threw the rod around the piling. He caught it with a soap brush, a long-handled soap brush. Got the rod. We retrieved the fish. We got out away from the bridge. Ensued a long 3-hour battle.
Oh my gosh!
With me fighting that fish from 3 a.m. till 3 a.m. That hot July night out there till my wrist was just shaking. And the little short story I wrote about it is called Wrist Shake. Now we get to that 3-hour point. The fish is exhausted. I'm exhausted, and my dad's just nervous as he can possibly be the whole time. And as I go, the fish is just laying off the boat. I can see him out there in the bridge lights. And this was before the second bridge was built. And I start to pull him in, and when I turn to pull him in, bam, it pops.
Oh,
after the 3-hour battle, and the only knot in that whole rig that we weren't worried about was the one at the hook. And that was the one that broke.
That's the one that gave way.
The
Wow.
one that it pulled out, that was the one that broke. Now, of course, my father was heartbroken on the ride home and trying to console me, and I'm going, no, the fish got away. We got a great story, and everything's fine, and let's get home. And I went home, grabbed a rusty Falstaff out of the refrigerator.
Of course.
A stereo up on the front porch. Put "Can't Always Get What You Want" and fell asleep on the front porch. Beer fell out of my hands. But great night. Eventually wrote that up as a short story.
Great story, Jim. Thank you so much for sharing that, man. That's the one. That's the
opportunity. You got my topic tonight,
Papa. That's listen. That's what we do here on the Tampa Native Show, and we knew this. Listen, we got calls. Lines are lighting up because we spent. That was a great. There was a pastime for us, man. And in some cases it was a lifestyle, and in other cases it was actually a form of employment because there were a lot of families that did that for a living. You know, they went out. The captain took the boat out, and you brought back catch of the day, and you sold it around to the restaurants. I mean,
the big part of
with all the water around here, it was a natural, right?
I could go on and on, man, but I want to let you get to your other caller.
Thank you.
I want to ask you. I want to ask you a question,
and I'm going to let you get on so some other people can tell some fish stories.
Jim,
I'd like to ask you a question. How do you spell your last name?
Kearney.
Okay, my dad used to work with a Jim Carney.
Okay, now there is more than one with that spelling, just that I know from judgment.
Okay.
So, what's your dad's name?
Ray Hester.
Raymond Hester. Ray Hester.
Oh, I don't think your dad and I worked together at any time. I spent a lot of time living away up in the Northeast, getting way too much.
I thought maybe your dad. Was your dad's name Jim?
I'm actually Frank James the Fourth.
Oh, okay.
Frank
James the Third, but he went by Budge.
Okay.
There's a story behind that, but Budge Carney, anybody of his generation would know him as being one of the premier. One of the families, like the Whiteside family,
Colonnade.
over at the Colonnade.
Absolutely.
There were certain families that participated in this. Howard Franklin's son, Freddie, down at Pioneer Marine, and such and such. But
hey, if you're free on Saturday, Jim, come by and see us at Amarillo's. We'd love to meet you in person.
Like to put a face
I'm going to try, gentlemen. I'm going to try.
Please do. Wonderful.
Now, between Gandy Bridge and the Causeway, which is your question tonight,
yes, sir.
We really didn't fish either one of those too much, but I will say, and I'll just leave it at this: what I was fishing for in the parking area at the Causeway in the late evening,
was not fish.
Was something.
That is that.
There you go. Do a little dry land fishing. Give me your sponsor of the week.
Sponsor of the week, of course, is Mike's, but again with a tip of the hat to the Whiteside family.
Okay, we'll go with Mike's, and your lucky bully, the number.
I'm going to go with 34 again.
Jim, great call tonight. We really appreciate that.
Great story.
Hope we see you on Saturday.
I'll do my best. I'll do my best.
Thank you, brother. Take care.
Buenas tardes, gentlemen. Buenas
tardes.
Buenas noches.
Buenas nachos.
Thanks, Jim. Bye-bye now.
We got an email here on my laptop, my miniature laptop.
Let me get this caller.
Let's do
that a little bit. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name, where you've been calling from, and thanks for waiting for so long.
Tony Gonzalez.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I don't know if you'll remember this, but I used to go with my brother, my older brother, to the Ballast Point fishing pier.
There is another place, absolutely. Absolutely.
You could rent the cane poles and everything there.
Wow.
Now, I was about 7 years old. My brother was, he was about 18, 19.
Going back to cane poles, Papa, you and Huck Finn.
Yeah.
And did you catch some big fish?
No, I never caught a big fish. When I got older, I had a boat. Go out trying to, when they had the tarpon tournaments.
Yes.
And I was going with my wife then, though. But I'd tell her we'd go for a moonlight cruise, and I'd go out into the bay, go fishing.
And throw a line in the water.
Line in the water.
What else do men do?
Just relaxing.
Baby, let's go for a cruise. Come on, it's gonna be nice. And then out comes the rod.
My hook.
Out comes the rod. Yeah. Baby, hold this for a minute.
Something relaxing about fishing.
Well, she was a fisherwoman, though.
Of course. So it was all good.
Yeah.
Great story. Oh yeah, sponsor of the week. Come on now, be creative.
Let's be the Red Wagon.
Red Wagon. Okay. All right. So you don't suffer from any nasal conditions either. All right, Red Wagon.
Yeah.
And your number, your bolita number of the week?
31.
30.
And Tony?
1.
Just to let you know, we still have your poster that you gave us at Amarili's last week, so not to worry.
Oh yeah, we have that.
have that?
Well, that's ours. That's ours. He gave that to
Oh, it
us.
is? I thought we had
that.
Yeah, no, that's ours.
Okay, perfect.
I got one hanging in my.
There you go.
Okay,
I
good.
got one hanging in my
Good to know.
awards room.
Okay.
Causeway or the Gandy Bridge?
Gandy Bridge.
Atta baby, Gandy Bridge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we hope to see you on Saturday. Stop by, Tony, if you get a chance.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
All right.
Good.
We look forward to seeing you.
Thank you,
Okay,
Tony.
take care, buddy.
Thank you.
Want to get the
Bye.
call or the email?
Let's get the caller.
Okay. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
This is Patty Rio.
Hey,
Hi, Patty
Patty.
Rio. How are you?
I'm good. Listen, I couldn't get that picture to you, but I can tell you this, and I won't keep you. Fishing is very serious business for the guys in West Tampa and Ybor City.
100%.
That's so true.
You're going to get a lot of calls tonight. I think we're ready for another,
Part 2.
No, this
Another
this
show.
is one of those shows that.
This is a fishing telethon.
Yeah,
know.
it is. It is.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's great. I can tell you I've been fishing, I went with Ray. We went to West Palm Beach. We've been to Key West, and we did a lot of fishing.
One of your sisters is also an avid fisherwoman.
Oh,
Fisherwoman.
yes. Yes, she
Easy for you to
is.
say.
Fisherwoman.
So, but I won't keep you because you're going to get Fisherwoman, yeah.
No, no.
You're going to get
Well, tell us a little bit about that. Look at that kid right there. Isn't
That's
that
a good
the
picture.
most
That
adorable?
little
I know that guy.
Ah,
That's
what?
you.
Look at that.
Same
that,
glasses,
That
too.
was one of those times that I went with my Willow to the Gandy Bridge.
I know.
And I had my Batman shirt on. No,
Those
Batman.
are some large glasses.
Tremendous large
Remember
glasses.
our Willow there, too.
Oh no! And listen, I mean, he loved to fish now, and he could fish and fish all. He had the patience of a saint. He would fish all day. He loved to fight. He was a good fisherman too. It's not just that he enjoyed the sport of it. He was technically a good
Yeah, the
fisher.
technique.
Yeah, no, he knew where
Right.
to throw the line. He knew what line to use, what bait to use.
Right.
Oh, he was wonderful. But Patty, tell everybody before you go a little bit about the story you were telling me that you guys went to the tournament down in Key West and what happened.
There was a tournament in Key West. It was the Hemingway tournament.
The Hemingway tournament. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
Very
they won in 1989.
1989.
The Hemingway tournament, boys from Tampa. And they were on the Esperanza, that's the boat.
Nice.
And you had Daryl Sanchez, Joe Garcia, Raymond Martinez, Ray Reel, and Anthony Reel. And so they won. Boys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And did they win for landing the biggest fish using certain?
Marlin, yes. They
Wow! So that was out
man.
there in the deep
Yeah,
stuff.
there you go.
Oh yeah, and we ended up meeting some of the Hemingway family.
Oh, how cool
They were
is
giving
that?
the trophies and stuff.
Well-
it was good. It was nice.
We do a second part to the show, or at least, if nothing else, we can certainly display that article. Still try to get it to us, Patty.
Yeah.
'cause
I
we can.
will. But it was good. It's good.
We're
but
gonna
like
have
I
to do
said,
another one.
fishing in West Tampa and Ybor City is serious business.
And
Yeah.
we talked on the phone. We talked on the phone yesterday that I remember distinctly going also with your dad. He would take
yeah.
you and me and your sisters, and we'd go out to Davis Island and get on the seawall there. And listen, it was something that fathers taught sons, uncles taught nephews, grandfathers. It was just something that you did.
Right.
And back then, let's
It
face it.
didn't have to be fathers or sons, daughters.
Yeah, no, exactly.
true.
There were only brothers in my family, but of course you had sisters only. So yeah, fathers with their daughters. And the
And you
reality
ate
is,
the fish.
well, two things. Yeah,
We cooked our fish.
great time to spend, quality time with your family. Whether you caught anything or not, it was fun. You always had fun, and of course you got home, and if you had a good catch of the day, then you had great eating that night. So it was something. And back then too, Jim referred to it earlier. In the 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s, the water was still very healthy,
Clean.
Oh yes.
and the fish were big and plentiful.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now you got to go further out, obviously, because so many people in the water's a lot dirtier. But
And we really need to do a show, or you need to do a show on crabbing. That's another whole show.
I know we
Yeah,
kind of
it
made
is
it a
a
little
show on
combo
itself.
tonight, but
There's too many stories.
yeah,
really.
crabbing in and of itself. But let us not forget that everybody who references crabbing, the reason you went crabbing was what, Steve?
For crab enchilada.
For crab enchilada.
Yeah, that was it.
It was like that's the only thing you did with crabs. You made jaiba enchilada and nothing else mattered.
Everybody did that?
Exactly.
What did you guys do down
That's
there?
what
We didn't go crabbing, so maybe that's true because
yeah.
I didn't know about crab shala.
Crab shala, as some would say. Yeah, someone had.
Until I met you.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
Well, I won't keep you, and the next show I'll make sure I have pictures.
Sponsor of the week, Patty.
La Segunda Central.
La Segunda Central. So,
Claro.
again, Patty doesn't suffer from any nasal allergies either. I can't
No,
make
I
it any
don't.
more clear. Okay, Segunda Central, very good. And your number of the week? I know what your number is. Go ahead.
You go ahead, put it down.
13.
Okay.
There it is.
We love our regular callers because
and
we
the
get
Causeway.
and the Causeway. Okay, we love our regular callers because we get to know them personally. And if you're free, Patty, and if you get a chance, stop by and see us at Amaryllis this weekend.
Okay, very
Thank
good.
you, Patty.
Thank
Thanks,
you, hon.
Patty.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Wasn't that Hugh Perret's lucky number for a while?
It was.
13.
It was 13.
Yes.
Tell us your story now because this is a great story.
Oh, this
Chris Frame, if you're out there listening.
Yeah, Chris, I hope you're listening. In fact, call in if you can. Jeff, if you can, bring up that other picture we looked at earlier of the Zebco 202 reel.
It's the real, yeah, there it is.
And it kind of set up the story. When I was a kid, Chris Frame, my childhood friend, we used to fish all the time on a big lake near Housewife Bakery off of Minnehaha Street. And there was a big stationary dock anchored in the middle of the lake, pretty deep lake. So one day we blew up an inflatable raft. He and I both got on the raft, paddled to the middle of the lake and got on this big stationary raft, climbed up aboard, and prior to that, though, I spent a whole maybe 6 months saving Coke bottles, cashing them in at U-Save, Little General, saving my money so I can go to Eckerd Drugs and buy this Zebco 202 fishing reel. No, take that back. I actually had the Zebco 202 already. I was saving up to buy the 404. I was upgrading. And I don't know the difference between the 202 and the 404, but I know one thing. If you're fishing and all your friends had a 202 and you had a 404, you were cool.
Very cool, very cool.
I think that was the reason I wanted it.
You had the hot car, man. You had the hot
Exactly.
fishing rod.
So anyway, this is a true story. It's unbelievable. We're on the raft. Literally my first cast, put the bait on the hook, cast it out. I'm standing near the edge of the big square. If you can imagine a big square raft on 55-gallon drums. My first cast went down and sank to the bottom. I took a step to my left and stepped over the edge of the raft and threw my fishing pole in the water.
No, Steve!
But the line had already gone out and sank, right? So Chris, he says, you know what, I think I can get that for you. I said, really? It's at the bottom of the lake right now.
Now, what happened to Steve? You told him. Tell the best part of the story. You fell in the water, too.
Oh, I fell in the water, too. Oh, yeah,
And
no.
you were a good swimmer,
Oh,
right?
no, not really. And I was afraid. And I was worried about alligators, too. So, I mean,
Get back in that boat.
I scrambled on that raft like a cat, basically.
Was the water deep out there?
It's pretty deep
enough.
It's deep enough. I didn't want to find out. But my fishing pole at the bottom of the lake, Chris,
Brand new fishing pole.
he gets a treble hook, which is a hook with 3 hooks on it. Ties it on his fishing pole. He casts it out. Like my line went this way, so he cast it over this way, let it sink. Then he dragged it to the bottom, reeled it in, and believe it or not, he pulled my string up from the bottom of the lake, and I pulled my whole entire fishing pole, my Zebco 404, from the bottom of the lake, and retrieved it. Now,
That's
what's the chance of that happening?
What you had just saved all your money for
I
and
know,
on your
I
first
know.
cast.
That was incredible, though. It's a true story.
Good story.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I was going to mention, too, from Jim Carney, I got the idea. I talked to Oldie Gonzalez this week, and he mentioned that tarpon, that there was a tarpon caught, I don't know if it was him or one of his friends caught a tarpon on the Hillsborough River right near the Braddock Street where it enters into the river, or it's dead ends to the river.
Wow.
And I don't know the details on that, but Oldie, if you can call in too, we don't have much
Yeah,
time.
we've got a
but
few
15
minutes left, Oli, but we'd
That'd
love
be
to hear
great.
from you. Clarify that
13
story.
minutes,
13 minutes, yeah, because we didn't know that tarpon were, ever up in the river that far.
No, I never knew that.
Saltwater fish, certainly. Hey, Steve,
wanna
read
do
that
that?
email, because I
Yeah, we
think
gotta
we
do
need
that.
to read that one from Michael as well, Michael White. That's a
Right.
great one.
Right, let's do
So
that.
we
Let's
got
do
about
that.
13 minutes. We're going to bring
it's
the
time for the Bolita drawing.
15-minute
And we-
girl is going to be coming in here shortly.
And also Mark
Actually, she's
Garcia.
sitting right here.
Oh, Mark Garcia, okay.
Yeah, let's do that one first because he has a number on here, lucky number.
Okay, good.
He writes, hello, Steve, Mario, and the 15-minute girl. Here I am holding up the bait.
Mark.
Oh, in fact, Jeff, I'm not sure what picture that is, but it's a black and white picture.
Little kid, not that little kid. That's me again. Why am I got so many pictures of me fishing? 'Cause
Mark
I used to go
Garcia's
fishing.
picture, but I don't
it's a
have it.
black and white picture, and he's kind of holding a couple of stringers. Actually,
That's it.
Well, you
but
read
I'll read
it.
it.
He'll find
Here
it
I am
for us.
holding up the bait at Pier 60, October 4th, 1963. Mark, what time was that, by the way? Just kidding.
That's it. That's it. Take us out so we can see that.
That's
picture
it.
while Stevie's
Perfect.
reading.
Perfect. But some of my
that's a
favorite
lot.
times fishing were off the Gandy Bridge with my dad, my uncle, and your grandfather, Mario, who's your cousin.
Yep.
If I remember correctly, that was when the bridge was still made of wood. My pick for sponsor this evening is Red Wagon Landscaping.
Okay.
My lucky number is 25.
Okay.
God bless Cuz, Mark Garcia.
Yep. The catwalk was definitely made of wood, and underneath that casita that I alluded to before was also made of wood. That may be
okay.
very well what Mark is remembering.
That's
but
probably it.
Yeah, that was some wonderful, wonderful times. And I'm telling you, Mark used to go out there with his uncle and his pop, and of course they were all close with my grandfather. So everybody had access as long as you get in there. Sometimes they'd pull the boat up on the fenders and then walk up on the fender, and then from the fender walk up.
Who had the boat?
Or you'd have to drive around. My uncle.
Oh.
Carl had a boat.
So many great fishing memories.
Carl had a
as
boat,
kids.
absolutely.
You want to get the call or
Yeah, let's get the call real quick, and then we'll come back to Michael's email. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hello?
Caller?
Uh-oh.
Oops.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, this is Hugh with a call.
Hugh, we were just talking about
Hi,
you.
Hugh.
How y'all doing?
Yours are ringing.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I used to go with my dad fishing on the Gandy Bridge a long time ago, and also before they were doing all the development, like Cobra Thousand and such, we used to go out on the peninsula, cast nets and stuff. Used to have a Zebco reel, rod and reel, and that's what I remember. Also, I don't think it's been mentioned. Just about the best fishing guy on TV was Salty Salt.
Oh, yeah.
Salty Salt.
Salt.
Is this Hugh Perrette?
Yes.
It is. You can't recognize my voice. I got a
I
real bad
recognize
cold.
Hugh, you must be suffering from some sinus condition allergy. Listen, we've got a product for you here now. And okay, Hugh, I didn't recognize you because I just looked at the 15-minute girl. I shook my head and said, that's not Hugh.
I knew it was
I recognize him.
All right, okay.
Yeah, okay.
So,
I'm going to make that my sponsor.
okay, very good, very good. G3 Nasal Shield for Hugh Perrette. And your number of the week?
Is number 20.
20.
Did I win a shirt last week? I can't remember.
You did, indeed you did. You went in jail, call 221-BAIL Frank Cueto.
Yeah, okay.
So meet us at Amaryllis this week on Saturday. Just come by for a minute. We'll give you your winnings.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. And
Hope you feel better, Hugh.
thanks. Yeah, I'm at work today, so
Get,
Oh,
Sound
boy.
fantastic.
get to feeling better. I didn't even hardly recognize you. Thanks for calling, Papa. We appreciate it.
all right. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Hugh.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Love when he calls.
This picture here,
That's
darling,
my
would you,
daddy.
yeah, would you like to talk a little bit about that picture?
Well, I don't know a whole lot about the picture other
The
than...
gentleman on the right is your dad, correct?
Yes, in the white shirt.
Yes.
And there's large fish there. I think what happened was, I don't think they were fishing. I think that gentleman was either my dad's best man that I never met. And he used to come and visit. And then Dad would take him, to all the fun places around. I think that's who that was.
That looks like a barracuda.
But I think
Oh,
he
a
just
mackerel,
took
a
him down
big
there
mackerel,
so that
silver
he could
king.
see the fish.
Yeah, the catch of the day. They'd hang
Yeah.
them up there like that. That's pretty cool. What would that have been? Maybe the Bay
I'm
Shore?
not sure. I'm not sure. But look, there's an American oil sign.
noticed
Isn't that
that.
cool? That
Yeah.
American Oil sign
I
is
remember
very,
that.
very cool.
I wish
back
I
there.
knew. There was nothing on the picture, and it was 1974, and I don't remember.
Anybody out there recognize that picture? You got about 10 minutes to call us. Call us and let us know where that picture was taken.
Great picture, though.
Great,
Yeah.
great picture. Hey, let's do real quick. Do we have any more?
Mike
emails?
White's
Yes,
email?
give us
Yes.
Michael's. Read us Michael's because he probably has a lucky drawing number on there as well.
Well, in 1965, a bunch of us teenage hardcore Gandy Bridge fishermen got into designing our own gigs and went out hunting just about anything looking even remotely edible that swam or hung out under the bridge. And I'm scrolling down on my little phone here.
Take your time.
I had built my own custom 12-foot bamboo pole that was 2 inches in diameter with a huge 5-prong gig on the end and 100 feet of 1,000-pound test-braided nylon rope affixed
That's a long tether.
and strung down the gig like a harpoon from Moby Dick. Long story short, really?
Too late for that.
I walked to the top of the span, looked over the side, and saw a 3 to 4 foot drum next to the pilings, which at the time I thought was a grouper of jewfish.
Wow.
Well, taking careful aim, I just dropped the gig and nailed that sucker right behind the head. I then found out that to pull a 75-pound fish up was impossible, and had to walk the fish down the catwalk through about 50 fishermen, cursing me for their fouling their lines, and learning the lesson to never gig something so big you can't pull up. Sponsor of the
What
week,
an ordeal.
Amaryllis,
Amaryllis?
Bolita number 7.
Lucky number 7.
Second choice in case it was taken, but we're good, right?
Okay, yeah, no, we're fine.
Okay, we're good. Thank you, Mike. Great,
Thank
great
you,
email.
Michael.
Great
That
story.
was a great story.
So correct me if I'm wrong. Look at that guy again. What's he doing over there?
Man,
What a good
he's
looking.
all over the place.
Look at that
Again
man.
with the glasses.
Again with the glasses and the great hair. I mean, my hair was great then. It's even better now.
You got a good little string of fish there.
I had a
too.
nice little string of fish, my little yellow tails I was catching all day long.
What
and
was
all
that
night long.
sign back there? Wish you
Well,
were
it was
here.
a towel. It said, "Wish you were here." I think it was a beach towel.
for a good picture,
Yeah,
huh?
made for a great backdrop.
I think the stringer of fish weighed more than you, though.
No. I needed to eat some caldo gallego or something because I
hopefully
was.
it has
Looks like you had your.
But it must have been during the winter time because if you can see, I got my flannel shirt on.
Yeah.
So it was probably a cool night, and I got my little Beta Bullets on
And
there.
you get your shoes.
Yeah, my Beta Bullets.
Converse.
The Converse
Love
shoes,
it.
yeah.
Love it.
High tops.
Yeah, red. Maybe they could have been Red Bulls. Okay, let's go ahead
Is
and
it
do
time for the Bolita
I think it is,
drawing?
darling. Give us
Yes.
a quick time check, Jeffrey, if you will. About 8 minutes to go. Today's winner. What are they going to tell them what they'll win, Johnny? Today's winner of the Bolita drawing will win this lovely, recyclable, Tampa Natives, very one of a kind recyclable shopping bag. And you can claim it this weekend at Amarilli's Sandwiches and More. So without further ado, and we have these, and let me tell you something. You go to Publix, 3-4, or Sweet Bay, or wherever you go to do your shopping, Winn-Dixie, and you can fill these things up, and they're sturdy, and they hold a great deal, and we'll have them available to you on Saturday.
And they're pretty.
Yep, and they're nice. And one lucky winner is going to take one home on Saturday.
Okay.
All right, let's go, baby.
Fran Costatino and Company.
Yeah.
Belita drawing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Franny.
This drawing brought to you by.
By
All right, get in there,
Constantine.
Stevie.
Okay.
Get a good look at those numbers now.
I'm ready.
All right.
15-minute girl, you do it. Do what you do, baby.
Number
Make sure. No, it's the other way. That way.
6.
Number 6.
Well, number 6. Okay. Wow, there was a 7. Michael White.
Closest to
Okay,
without
but
going over.
But he went over. The lowest one is number 3. So that would be Joe Beatty.
Joe
Oh,
Beatty
wow.
with his number 3.
His consistency paid
Joe
off.
Beatty again with your consistency
Wow.
paying off. We
have
know
a-
we're going to see you on Saturday.
back in.
Oh, put that back in, darling. We know we're going to see you on Saturday, so be sure to remind us we got to give you a shopping bag. Hey,
Callers,
we got to call him. Let's go
grab
real
it real
quick.
quick. Sure.
Let's see who this is. Stevie?
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
This is Big Mike from Orlando.
Hey, Mike.
There he is.
Good to hear from
Hey.
you.
Man, got in late on this show here, but boy, what a great show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for
Big
calling.
stories. I know I got much time running down, but hey, Mario, just like you know, me and Manuelo were very close, and he used to go fishing every Sunday.
Yes.
He had his own kicker, a little motor. Mm-hmm. You go to Clearwater, and we rent the boat, and he bring his kicker in there, and then we go cruise straight ahead to where the Sand Key Bridge is now.
Sure.
Underneath that bridge, man, you wouldn't believe all the big fish you could catch under that bridge. Of course.
I bet.
Wasn't it wonderful just to spend time with your little man to hear the stories and him to teach you how to do stuff? And
He was everything to me, and my two uncles. As a matter of fact, my Uncle Nelson still today has a charter out of him and my aunt live in Marathon. Captain Nelson Perez, if you're ever down there.
oh, wonderful. And we've got more captains, boat captains, Oli Gonzalez being one of them, that are in our midst, in our ranks. We may just have to do a secondary show on this
Yeah.
and
It's been popular.
invite those people to come in, maybe even live in studio, do something in studio with us. But to have a real heavy, weighty talk about the old days and where we used to go and how we used to fish. And I mean, it was just a big thing for us to do back then.
Big part of our childhood.
A big part of our
It
childhood.
really was. Like
About
baseball.
the crabbing thing, I used to do the same thing. You were talking over there by Dana Shores, with the string. With
Right, in that
Yeah.
little channel there.
But you know what? We did. We got a nylon and tied it around that chicken neck.
Uh-huh.
The crab grabs it.
That's what we did.
It sticks to the nylon thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
gotta
yeah, I
be
didn't, no, I didn't do that.
real wily. You bring him up
Right.
nice and slow. When you see him, then you get in there with your net. Boom, you got him.
Yeah, but a lot of times they let go. But another better way to do it: Athena and a lantern. One guy
There you go.
has a net with wing guys.
Yes.
Port Street thing by St. Petersburg, the turnoff there, right after Howard Franklin. Low tide, full moon. You could pick your crabs. It was unbelievable.
All day and all night. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, we got to see you one of these days. Now, come and make a trip to Tampa so we can say hello to you and give you a big hug.
Hey, this isn't the last show of the whole season. I mean,
Next week will be, though. Next week will be the last one for this season, so make sure you tune in next week.
Please do, Mike.
I mean, mother, what am I going to do?
I know. What are we going to do, right? But make sure you tune in next week.
You got it, man. Love you guys. Take it easy.
Love you
you,
too,
Mike.
Mike. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And
Jeffrey, time check, please. 2.5 minutes.
Wow, it goes so fast, doesn't it?
Again, 1 hour.
Zippity-doo-dah.
If we do another show on this, I have to talk about the big Indian Rocks fishing pier and the hurricane. That's a great story.
Oh, the
It's
Indian
hilarious.
Rocks fishing
It's
pier.
hilarious.
That's good stuff. Honey, did
But-
you have any quick fishing stories that you had?
Unfortunately, I don't really have a fishing story.
But you do like to eat fish.
I love fish.
Okay, good.
That sounds
That's a
fishy.
good,
I'd like
that's
to
a
go
good-
fishing. I've never been fishing.
That's a good fishing story. Well, maybe we'll just have to have a Tampa natives fishing outing.
Fish-a-thon.
No, fishing outing.
Why don't we do that?
Maybe we can just all get together and go, go someplace
I'm ready.
close. We don't have to go too far.
Yeah, go on a bridge or maybe.
It can't be that
yeah.
difficult. We just get together and,
How about a half-day fishing trip?
yeah, throw a line in the water
That'd
and,
be fun.
have some adult libations. And okay, 2 minutes to go, Jeffrey tells us. So before we end the show, we want to make sure that we reiterate, be on the lookout because we are going to be participating again this year in the Muscular Dystrophy Association Telethon. There's going to be opportunities for us to donate. We want to raise some money for the MDA this year, and at the same time, we want to be a presence in this year's very special telethon, the last one again for Jerry Lewis. It's going to be wonderful, and it's
It'll
going
be
to
a
be
big
the
one.
4th of September.
Very
We
exciting.
will be creating an event on that social networking page to let you know if you come out on Saturday to see us, and we hope that you do come out on Saturday to see us. We'll have some information there as well. In addition to this week's winner of our lovely recyclable bag, we do want to, because Hugh Perrette is suffering so desperately from his sinus condition. Hugh, and you're out there still watching, stop by on Saturday. We're going to give you a bottle of this fabulous product, okay? We're going to give it to you because really and truthfully you need it. And it's going to help you, and you're going to be our next major endorsement for that product. We got just a little under a minute to go. Make sure I don't forget anything. If you have some help out there for us, because we are suffering, Steve and I, right now from computer viruses.
Yes.
Yes.
We need help.
We do.
We need help because our computers are completely on the blink.
This is my temporary computer for now. So
30 seconds to go. Next week will be our last show of the season, ladies and gentlemen. And the show's going to be all about you guys. We want you to send us your emails now to show@tampanatives.com and let us know what you've enjoyed most about the show. What you've enjoyed most and where you want us to go from here. We've got about 10 seconds left. We'll be looking for those emails. Stephen, take us out of here.
On behalf of my co-host, Martin Nunez, the 15-Minute Girl, I'm Steve Cannella saying salute.
Salute.
And happy days.
And happy days. We love you, Tampa.
We love you.
Back when we were younger and everything seemed new, we used to have a lot of fun, yes we did, no matter what we do. Sleeping days, long summer nights, going anywhere we pleased. This love I've always called my own, a love that I've always known. Yes, I remember Tampa. She remembers me.